Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone back here again tonight with another episode of After the Buzzer, the show where I recap the NBA games from the night. We only have 3 matchups on tonight's slate, but one game in particular I really want to talk about because it features a player and a trade that I was praising nonstop during the offseason. Some of y'all agreed with me, a lot of y'all didn't agree, and I just want to say I was right and talk about why the trade was so genius. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Obviously, the game I want to get into is Cavaliers versus Lakers, one that I wouldn't have been super into at the beginning of the season because the Lakers were nothing special. They started really rough, and while there is like the LeBron versus Cleveland narrative, you have Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis as star power. Cleveland in my eyes has just been the better team overall this season, and coming into the year I thought we're going to be the 3 seed in the East, which they are at the moment, so pat on the back for myself. However, with Anthony Davis going on a tear recently, playing like a superstar, and Cleveland playing up to expectations, this was actually a really anticipated matchup for me. However, Anthony Davis would leave this one early with the flu. He'd only play a few minutes. LeBron had a pretty solid performance with 21, 17 rebounds, and 4 assists, but I don't believe he scored in the fourth quarter, so he kind of disappeared down the stretch, and ultimately Cleveland would end up pulling away with a double-digit win pretty late in this one, really towards the end of the fourth quarter. They just couldn't be matched on the Lakers side. And the key to this whole thing was the guy that really changed the fortunes of this franchise in the offseason, Donovan Mitchell. When the trade went down, I immediately made a reaction video saying I love this trade for Cleveland. I didn't love the idea of Donovan Mitchell in, say, New York, where he was rumored to go for a while, because the Knicks still feel pretty far away from a championship in my eyes. They would have Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson with some decent pieces off the bench, which sounds like an overall pretty solid squad, but it didn't feel like a championship caliber squad, which is why a team like the Knicks would trade for Donovan Mitchell. However, with Cleveland, I like their squad a lot better even without Spida, and adding him, I felt like made them a potential championship contender this season and definitely for seasons down the line as Darius Garland got better, Evan Mobley gets better, Jarrett Allen, who's still super young, he gets better. A crop of other young players on that roster have time to grow and improve, and that's exactly what we've seen so far. Darius Garland finally has some offensive help, and in this one he put up 23, 3, and 11, focusing a bit more on playmaking while also giving you 20 plus points. He is one of the best young point guards in the league, and him and Donovan Mitchell make such an elite backcourt. You've also got Evan Mobley, who's played incredible defense. The stats don't really show it, but if you watch him play, he is getting better and better exponentially. Every single game, it feels like his stock continues to rise, and that's coming from someone that was super high on him coming into the draft, saw him as a future superstar, my favorite prospect in that 2021 draft class. He's only made me higher on him since he's played in the league. Jarrett Allen had a monster performance. He had 24, 11, and 1 in this game, really got on fire early. The Lakers could not do much to stop him, even when Anthony Davis was on the court, albeit he was sick. So Cleveland has these great players, but overall the key to everything is Donovan Mitchell. He had 43 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on 17 of 27 shooting tonight, as well as 4 steals. And with 4:44 left in the game, the Lakers cut the deficit to just 5 after being down by a lot more earlier on. So they said, hey, Donovan Mitchell, go get us some buckets, just, close this one out as he has done for them all season. That's exactly what he did, because over the next 2 minutes and 43 seconds, it was Donovan Mitchell layup, Donovan Mitchell hits 2 free throws, Karis LeVert hits a layup, Donovan Mitchell hits a step back 3, Donovan Mitchell knocks on a couple free throws, and all of a sudden, it's a 15-point game. He scored 9 points in 2.5 minutes to close this one out, as he has been doing all season, and 16 points on the fourth quarter as a whole. It's what Donovan Mitchell does. He's been incredible, easily the best guard in the Eastern Conference so far. I don't think there's anybody that's even close at the moment. When I think about who the Eastern Conference All-Star starters are going to be, I can name the front court pretty handily, but with guards, it's Donovan Mitchell and then the rest of the league. They had to give up a lot to get him, but he's done exactly what they've been hoping for, and probably even more than what they expected. I know I love this trade, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, but he's even exceeded my expectations, as have the Cavaliers. They've been amazing so far, and part of the reason why I love it so much is the NBA is wide open at the moment. Outside of the Boston Celtics, there are no real powerhouses in the league, and even with Boston, Cleveland has beat them twice. Boston has lost 5 games all year. 2 of those came to the Cavaliers. They seem to somewhat have their number. Now, if they went up against each other in a playoff series, I'm still picking Boston, but it just goes to show that the Cavaliers can compete with any single team in this league on any given night. They're further ahead of the timeline than I think a lot of people expected. I thought they were going to be the 3 seed, so I'm going to go ahead and give myself credit on this one because I really liked what they were building. The idea of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland as one of the best, most dynamic offensive backcourts in the entire league was really really intriguing to me, especially with defenders like Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. You know, you've got guys like Dean Wade, Lamar Stevens, Isaac Okoro, who can play some defense here and there, although Okoro been really disappointing so far this season. Kevin Love as a solid guy off the bench. Jetty Osman has been great as a role player too. Just so many fun guys on this roster that fit together so well. Karis LeVert is hit or miss, but when he's on, he is on, and he just adds another element to an incredibly dynamic Cavaliers offense. You have these two high-level scoring guards, great playmakers in the backcourt, and in your front court, you have an amazing defensive big and power forward who can really clean things up if they let anybody by. You just put a solid piece there at the 3 spot. They're able to make it work, and who knows, maybe they could even go out and trade for a better 3 at some point in the season around the deadline. If they somehow manage to make more deals, the Cavaliers only get better. This team is so good, and the Donovan Mitchell trade, credit to the Cavaliers front office, was such great timing. They saw what they had in their roster. They knew, hey, we've got 3 young all-stars, or Evan Mobley will be an all-star at some point. He's not quite there yet. Let's go out and add a superstar alongside them. It's worked out beautifully. I tried to tell y'all this trade was genius, and that's exactly what it is. Spida is playing the best basketball of his career with potentially the best supporting cast he's ever had. He's become an MVP candidate, and the Cavaliers look like one of the main threats to come out of the Eastern Conference. In some other league news, we had Nuggets versus Mavericks, with Dallas picking up back-to-back wins over 2 of the best teams in the Western Conference, being the Phoenix Suns yesterday, as they typically do, outside of that one crazy blown lead at the beginning of the year. They're led by Luka Doncic and Tim Hardaway Jr., who have been their best 2 players as of late. Tim Hardaway had 29 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists alongside 3 steals, and he's at the most threes in the league since Thanksgiving. He's a big key for them if they're able to consistently get high-level production from THJ. It goes a long way to them being a more consistent offense as a whole, because they are the definition of a team that is either super hot or super cold, and basically whether they win or not is almost always determined by that. Luka can do what Luka can do. You know, it was a bit of a rough shooting night for him, but he still did put up 22, 10, and 12. The Nuggets sent a ton of pressure his way, and the shooters were able to make shots, as did Dorian Finney-Smith, who had 19 points, including the 3 that put them over the hump late in this game. The Mavericks are turning things back around a little bit, but I still need to see a bit more consistency from the role players to truly say that they're back on track. As for the Nuggets, really their big issue is still not getting consistent production out of Jamal Murray. He had just 11 points, and he was missing continuously in the clutch, really just taking a lot of shots that probably should have gone to Nikola Jokic instead. Although credit to Dallas, every time Jokic got the ball, they were sending a double team to force someone else to beat them. Bruce Brown nearly did so. He was on fire late from 3 and just attacking the basket, making winning plays, as he always does. He is one of those role players that any team would love to have, and I still can't believe that Brooklyn let him go, but it just wasn't enough in the end as Denver falls to 14-10. Then in the final game of the night, we had Pistons versus Heat, with Detroit getting a 20-point win over Miami. They're led by Bojan Bogdanovic, who had 31, 3, and 5, including 7 of 9 from 3. So shout to him. He just got that huge extension a couple weeks ago, and he's really playing up to it as of late. Without Cade Cunningham, they needed some production from him as well as some other guys. They got it. 18, 9, and 2 from Alec Burks, 11 and 11 double-double from Isaiah Stewart. So overall, big win for Detroit, while Miami suffers probably their worst loss of the season. They didn't have Jimmy Butler in this one, but even still, Detroit has been awful so far this year. They can't really beat anybody, so this isn't one that you really want to lose. 34, 3, and 6 from Tyler Hero, who had a really good game. You had 21 and 15 from Bam Adebayo. He continues to play well, but that was pretty much it. I do want to give a shout to Victor Oladipo, who came back from injury in this game. He had 9, 2, and 2 on 3 of 9 shooting, so not a great performance, but hopefully he's able to get back to his usual self as he continues to get reps and finds a rhythm. That's all I've got for y'all tonight. I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy. A lot of y'all aren't subscribed to this channel. A majority of people that watch these videos are not, so even if you think you are, make sure to check that because you may not be. We're super close to 20,000 on the channel, so definitely make sure to check that out. And thank you to every one of you that has liked, commented, even just watched a second of any of these videos. It means the world to me. Y'all are helping me live out my dream of doing this thing as a potential career. I appreciate y'all watching. Also, comment down below, letting me know what you think about the Cavaliers, the Donovan Mitchell trade. Do you agree with me that they're very close to becoming contenders and that it was a genius trade by them? Appreciate y'all watching. As always, I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.